Well, welcome to Vet2Vet. I'm Conrad Kaskowski, and this is Dwayne Wick.
Hi.
Explain a little bit about our hats. I'm with the American Legion here in Plymouth. Dwayne is also with the American Legion in Plymouth, and his hat's a little different because um, the Legion is divided into not only posts and colonies, but district, and Dwayne is now a district officer, so he takes care of helping out a lot of posts, a lot of colonies. Now, we're going to talk one specific armed services. That be the U.S. Navy. Okay, so all you anchor clankers, get up out of your racks, get on board, and pay attention because this all deals with you. One of the things the main focus is going to be on Agent Orange and Blue Water Navy. Now, I know a lot has been said in the past. People probably don't know what, they hear that term Agent Orange and they're like, oh, I don't know what that means. Well, quickly, Agent Orange, it was a blend of a tactical herbicide used by the military, U.S. military from 1962 to 1971 during the Vietnam War. And it was used to take out the foliage and everything so that the enemy didn't have the tactical advantage of concealment. And this stuff is about as nasty as you can ever find. The foliage didn't die in hours, it was minutes, practically minutes. And it also took out trees. So this is how bad this stuff was. In fact, if you are in possession of it, you can get arrested for it. This is a combat military deal and really, really bad. So, would it look orange? No, the orange came from the fact they were stored in 55-gallon drums, and there was an orange band around it, signifying that this was the nasty foliant to use. And how they did it, they used aircraft, wingtip to wingtip, and covered vast areas on land. Now, saying, and by the way, it's estimated over 19 million gallons of this stuff was spread out through the country. Now, you say, well, you talked about the land. Well, what's this got to do with the Navy?
How does this extend to those that were in the Navy?
Correct. Okay, so not only was the land areas, but the southernmost peninsula of Vietnam and many of the shipping channels in and around Saigon also got it. So, of course, as far as tides go and everything, stuff went out. And if you're using aerial spraying, you get overspray and whatnot. So the Navy ships got into it. So now, I think Dwayne, you had talked to some Navy guys and whatnot. This term of the Blue Water Navy has been kicked around for quite a while, right?
Right.
I mean, they were told stories and nothing ever happened.
They were told that at some point maybe they would be included with this presumptuous as being exposed to Agent Orange. So they finally have come to a decision.
It finally happened in January 1st of 2020 that the Agent Orange to veterans who served offshore in the Republic of Vietnam during the Vietnam War included. Now, you have to pardon me if I'm going to be reading from stuff, but I want to make sure I'm accurate on some points because Wayne's going to ask me some questions in that, and I want to make sure I get the right info out to you. We're also going to talk about Korea at the end. Served in Korea during this era, not the Korean War, but during this era, you're going to be surprised that, hopefully not surprised, but find out how this also affects you.
We have been exposed to Agent also. All right. The Agent Orange exposure on the Navy or Coast Guard ship. Did you serve on a blue water Navy vessel offshore of the Republic of Vietnam, or on another U.S. Navy or Coast Guard ship operating the coastal waterways of Vietnam between January 9th, 62 and May 7th, 1975.
You know, what was an important thing you said there was we're talking U.S. Navy, but the Coast Guard was also involved during that war. A lot of people, you know, kind of sloughed them off, but they were there. So it also includes the coasties. They had their own ships operating.
If you were in contact with Agent Orange, the herbicide clear trees, we refer to this as a presumptuous of contact. Also, you find out whether you're eligible for disability compensation or other benefits from illnesses that they believe was caused by Agent Orange.
Now, we could spend a show talking about the 14 diseases, yes, I said 14, 1-4, that are associated with this nasty thing. And it also does affect your family. So any of this stuff that happens or comes up, go to your county veteran service office, please.
So now Blue Water Navy veterans are entitled to a presumptuous service connection for illnesses related to Agent Orange. And this law was signed on June 25th of 2019, but not taking effect until January 1st of 2020.
And what are Blue Water veterans?
And they are those who have served in open sea ships off the shore of Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and they are referred to as Blue Water Navy veterans.
But that term, Blue Water Navy, what in the world is Blue Water Navy?
It's a maritime force capable of operating globally, essentially across deep waters of open oceans. And Blue Water Navy allows a country to project power far from their home country, and usually includes one or more aircraft carriers.
So, has the Blue Water Navy bill, has it been signed?
It has. It was signed on the evening of June 25th, as I had said, but by President Trump. But it actually goes into effect on January 1st. It has gone into effect January 1st of this year. If you're unfamiliar with this Blue Water Navy Act, this law will grant presumptuous status for disability benefits. 1,000 Navy veterans who have served in the waters off the coast of Vietnam.
Now, there are a list of ships that were active within the 12 nautical miles, and that's how it's figured out. The 12 nautical miles off the coast of Vietnam is considered their territory. There is a list of ships. Again, we'd spend another show giving you the list of ships. So after you contact your county veteran service office, you can find out your ship was on it, and they will assist in finding the records for you that you actually were aboard that ship during this time, and what the duties of that ship happen to be. Now,
I've heard that some of the logs and things with the ships were not as high tech and whatever, so it's taking more time to actually go through all the logs, because you have to prove that you were within that 12 nautical miles. So sometimes it takes a longer time to actually verify that you were
right.
within that
There's the old fashion of keeping a log book, and a lot of that stuff, although they are trying to digitize it, but it's a century of log books to go through. But they have pinned down the ships that were operating there. So now, am I eligible for disabilities from the VA because I served on a ship that is designated being in that area?
You may be able to get disability benefits, but you have to qualify through a couple of things. Have you had an illness that you believe was caused by Agent Orange, called the presumptuous disease? And at least one of these must be true. Your military record must show that between January 9th, 1962 and May 7th of 1975, you were aboard a U.S. military vessel that operated in the inland waterways of Vietnam, or served on a vessel not more than 12 nautical miles seaward from the demarcation line of waters of Vietnam and Cambodia. Now that's kind of a lot of information just within that time, but basically that you were aboard a military vessel operating in the waterways of Vietnam and within that 12 nautical miles.
Now, you mentioned Cambodia. That was the other issue that's been coming up with even the Army veterans and Marine veterans when we're talking on land base, because this brings in Cambodia and Laos. Now, we weren't supposed to be there, or we weren't there, depending on how you look at this. Because I remember a couple of pilots talking on a flight line one time, and they had a mission, obviously where they were, was doing bomb runs in Cambodia, and one asked the other one, how do I put this down when I'm not there? And they said, and the other guy said, don't worry, it'll be taken care of. So there's a lot of that stuff going on.
Okay.
Now for the Korea. Now, Dwayne, understand that the Korean DMZ, the demilitarized zone, and Agent Orange exposure.
Okay, now if you were served in a unit in or near the Korean DMZ between April 1st, 1968 and August 31st of 1971, and you have a disease the VA recognizes associated with Agent Orange, you are presumed to have been exposed to the herbicide. Now again, this is you think of the Korea, but this is the DMZ from April 1st of 68 to August 31st of 71. So that's much later when that agent was used.
Yeah, they decided to use the nasty stuff up there, and I always call it, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Now, the other thing that you have to do, if you're one of these veterans, the VA and the Department of Defense are the ones that you're going to have information of your outfit, and that's going to be verified through the VA and Department of Defense. So your claim is going to get tied up with that. So, bear that in mind. Go to your county veteran service office, get that information going, okay? Now, we're just about wrapping it up, and that takes care of something. One of the new things that has come about for start of 2020, we will have some more information for you, a little bit lighter, a little bit more recreational, so to speak, next time. So we're going to tease you with that, show you how to have a good time, and also get some good bargains. So Wayne and I, thank you.
I don't know if we should maybe point out that survivors, if you had not, if you had been to Vietnam and you passed away, but you were possibly exposed, or you think your spouse was possibly exposed, the survivor is still eligible for benefits.
Again, so go to your
talk to them.
To your county service office,
and they can help you out with that.
Yeah. So next time we'll have some more information for you. Thank you for taking the time to watch us.